guys, welcome to this video. We're going to talk you through the Taupo 50k and 70k course, aid stations and whatnot. So let's fire into it, eh?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The basic crux of it is the last. We'll look at the 70 first. And the last 50k's of the course of the 70k's is the same. So all we really need to cover about the 70k's is the first 20k's, right?
Yes, that's right. Then we'll move along the trail to the 50k.
We'll just move along.
Yeah.
The 70k course this year is a new course. It used to be a 74. There used to be a boat ride to wherever the start was. Can't remember where that was. Never really got into that course, but so now it's pretty cool. It starts at Kinlock, which is pretty awesome. I'm presuming it probably starts around the same sort of place as the 24 maybe. It starts at Kinlock and does a bit of a loop sort of around this sort of flat trail and road sort of section to the first aid station, which is that, what is it called? Lizland.
Lizland?
Liesland, maybe.
Land.
Basically, it's an obscure little aid station in a suburb. That's as the crow flies, it's actually very close to where the Kinlock aid station is.
You actually visit there twice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this race will visit there twice?
Yep. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
It will be the one before you come into Kinlock the second time.
Oh, you do? Yeah, you do visit it twice, yeah. So, 8k's in and 40-odd k's in.
So both times actually a very odd time in the race, actually.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about this course, isn't it? There's the 50 and the 70, you got these, some aid stations are close together, and then you got a couple of sections that are, quite far apart. But it kind of works, as well. So, aid station 1, 8k's in, and then the next one is, 12k's later, like we just talked about, So, I guess, starting, I guess the only thing you'd need to think about at going to that Liesland aid station is that you've got your suite for the next 12k's to get to the airstrip, which is 20k's in. 20k's in, airstrip, and that is a drop bag aid station. So you can have a drop bag there if you want. Probably if you are doing the 70k, would you have a drop bag there? Personal preference.
Depends if you have a crew or not, I guess.
Yeah.
All that kind of.
Yeah, that's a good aid station. It's a good aid station for your support crew to be at if you have a support crew and you're on the 70. If you're on your own for the day, trudging it on your own, then drop bag. Probably a small drop bag, so sort of it's that sort of, and also it depends where you are in the field as well. If you're pretty quick, then you won't need a drop bag, because you'll just be boom, boom, in and out.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you have that sort of mid sort of packer, then, or mid to rear, then you would put a drop bag there.
Just with some food.
Yeah.
Extra food.
Little treats.
So you don't have to carry all your food for nearly, because I suppose the next big aid station really is Kinlock.
Yeah.
So you carry enough food for 50k's or 20k's, depending on how quick you are.
Yeah.
Is how I see it.
Yeah, so you would put a drop bag there. And then, the airstrip, incidentally, is the start of the 50k also. So we kind of, we'll carry on talking about the 50k, and if you're doing the 70k from here on, just add 20k's on to the numbers that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. So you've already ran 20k's and you're in the airstrip, and let's go with the 50.
Yeah. So I guess, overall, the trail and the courses for all of these are runnable single trail, like their mountain bike trails. It's Pana space as well, similar to Rotorua. So it doesn't typically get wet and boggy and that kind of thing. It's hard packed, it's a solid trail. Runnable. If it's dry, then it's that sort of thing. You could technically use your road shoes, eh?
Could actually,
yeah. A hardy pair of road shoes if you wanted to, or a light trail pair, or stuff like that. So
what have you trained in, really? It's a good tip.
Definitely whatever you trained in.
Don't just bang out these new road shoes.
Because
we suggested it right now.
Yeah. Don't pull out the carbons.
No.
Watch this video and then be like, oh man, shit, need to get some road shoes. Go and buy a pair of carbons. Do it in that.
Yeah. You might have no shoes at the end of it.
Yeah. Because I don't think there is any farm crossings on. Aside from this section here, like at the airstrip, and before you get to the Great Lake Trail, which is literally less than a K, I don't believe, there's no other farm or grass crossings for the rest of the course.
No, it's kind of earlier on, like the 100k that there is.
Yeah. So the only non-single trail stuff in the whole of this course is this little bit, that we talked about before through Kinlock, bit of road and stuff. Cool.
Sweet.
What's next?
Start
of the 50.
Start of the 50. So we're just going to go through the course.
Yeah. So your first aid station after the airstrip, or after you start the race on the 50k, is 12k's in Kawakawa Bay. I think that's sort of a quick, like we kind of talked about before, that's more of a sort of quick stop.
Yeah, and I think all these aid stations just depend on, also another thing that you have to consider is the weather. If it just happens to be a really hot day, then you're going to be stopping for water more often. But if it's the weather we've been having, then you're obviously going to be stopping less because you won't be drinking as much. So it's just kind of being aware of that kind of stuff as well. And then that's something that we can't necessarily tell you in this video because the video is not now. But and it's also just to, think about your times that you're going to be out there, that we mentioned in the 70k video that 20k's can be a long way or it can be a short way, and just here 26k's can be a long way or a short way, so you might need to stop at the 1 or 2 beforehand, or you could potentially make it to 26k's. Would you say that's...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Looking at these first 3 aid stations, so in the 50k your only drop bag is Kinlock, so that's a major aid station, and that's 26k's in. And then Kawakawa aid station, 12k's in, then Liesland or Lisland.
That famous one.
We'll find that out later. Someone can correct us. So Kawakawa Bay, 12k's in, Lisland, 19k's in, Kinlock, 26k's in. For me, looking at that, if it was me, I'd be just wanting to run straight through Lisland. I'd use Kawakawa Bay as a as a top up. Is that what you'd do?
Yeah, and
tricky one, eh? Because it is a little funny one. Because Lisland's, maybe I'd run through Kawakawa actually and take enough for 20k's, and then just do a quick top up if I needed it.
I actually just thought of another weird factor. This is all stuff that is personal. It's like, so sometimes you need to go to the toilet. And that could mean that you need to stop at Kawakawa Bay.
Because there is a little toilet there.
Yeah. And so you would just stop there, opposed to Lisland. And, I think either way, you just got to make sure that you've got enough, like, water and stuff to get you to Kinlock, you know? Whether that's stopping at all 3 or 1 or 2.
Yeah, incidentally, it doesn't really matter if you're stopping at Kawakawa and Lisland if it's just for water. So, I mean, generally what we would do is, I'd probably only be travelling with the 2 500ml bottles in the front of the pack, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're like a rare packer, you would need more stuff because it's sort of, more of a calculation of how long you're going to take in between aid stations. But if you're a mid packer or front of the mid pack or that kind of thing, then you would be fine with the 2 500ml bottles in the front, wouldn't you? Because you got 12Ks, then 19Ks, then 26. So it's those quick aids. It's better to carry just what you need and do the quick refill of the water, or maybe you put your tailwind. You put your tailwind, have your tailwind sachets and put that in, then water. So it's a quick stop. That's basically what we're...
Just remember it.
Whether you stop or don't stop, basically what we're saying is those first 2 aid stations look pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Kinlock one. So, I guess, you go through that first 16 Ks or so, is all that single trail stuff, and that's sort of as you're just coming into Kinlock, you'll sort of pop out of the that sort of bush trail where you run along the edge of the lake, and you'll sort of pop out into the open, and you'll know that you'll be coming in towards Kinlock at that point. You'll start to see some people. It's a cool place actually for your support crew. They can sort of wander down that track a little bit too and see you pop out. And then you do this weird little bit that's added on, a little tiki tour.
Land.
It's tiki tour time. If you're on the 70K, it'll be your second visit to Lisland. Or Liesland. But it's tiki tour time back into Kinlock, where it's kind of like your first section is like this sort of hard packed gravel swamp kind of thing. Then you pop out on the road. Oh no, that's when you come back, isn't it?
Well, no, you kind of like
pop out on the road first.
And I think there's a little hill, and then you kind of like pop. Yeah.
Then you're on the road.
Yeah. Then you pop out onto like this suburb.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like loop, and then you kind of like loop round. It's all coming back to me from 3 years ago. And you can run through it, and then you loop round the road, and then it's kind of like a downhill to back to the road. So the domain. Yeah,
and that's the swampy bit on the way back. Or not swampy, but there's like it's like you're running through like a bit of a swamp area.
I can't remember that.
On the way back. Yeah, so it's like this funny, like little loop. The Kinlock Tiki Tour, we'll call that.
Yeah.
So how long is the Kinlock Tiki Tour?
Like 8 Ks.
So 16 there.
5 Ks.
7 Ks for the Kinlock Tiki Tour.
Well, we'll be able to tell by the difference between the aid stations. Scroll down. Lisland to Kinlock.
7-ish Ks, yeah. Yeah, and then once you've done your Kinlock Tiki Tour, you then and you've sort of, and then you hook back onto the trail that you were on, that you were on, and then you're basically just in, you're in town there, in the little Kinlock village, and major aid station Kinlock, drop bag, support crew, full noise, very cool part of the race.
It's kind of like where like all distances join, actually, apart from the 24K, because they do start there, but they would have been there. They would have started. So you'll probably see 70, 100, and of course yourself in the 50.
So yeah, Kinlock's a really good aid station for support, having a support crew there, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you want to make it it's a major stop. Like you want to have all your goodies in your drop bag. Maybe it's a place where you do a shoe change, or if you've got something going on with your feet, like it's a really good time to address it, like all that kind of stuff. Have your nice like drinks or like food, like a particular thing that you like to eat, and or if you don't have a drop bag, if you've got a support crew, then that's the really good place for them to.
Yeah, it's just a good place to hang out as well, because you just like see everyone there, like hang out if you're a spectator, obviously.
Don't hang out too long if you
Yeah, and just a question, like, what if you're quite a fast 50k? What's this station look like if you're kind of like under 6 hours?
Yeah. You still might have a drop bag, eh? Yeah. Maybe not, eh? Yeah. It's kind of one of those, if you do, it's going to be like minimal. Like you probably won't have a pair of, you're not looking at shoe changes and things like that. It's like maybe there's just a particular couple of small items of food that you like. But yeah, you'd probably only do that even like if you were sort of on your own. If you have a support crew there, then and you're like under 5.5, 6 hours, then they're going to bring like your gels and your whatever. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And even like I remember with Tarawera last year, with the 50k group we had, most of the athletes under 6 hours didn't use the drop bag, at that sort of, that 25, 30k mark.
Yeah.
Just carried on.
Just personal preference, like, a bit.
Because if you are in that sort of 5.5, 6 hour, you're like racing, you want to do a good time, so you want to minimize your stoppage, and so it's that just weighing up of like, I'm just carrying a couple of extra bits of like food or like nutrition, and then I don't have to stop, like that kind of thing. I mean, that's for me as well. That's where Tailwind's really good, because you can, you're just carrying sachets of Tailwind, and you're just quickly refilling, like you're just pouring it into your drink bottle and refilling the aid station water, so that's where Tailwind works really well as like a big calorie source, because it doesn't take up much room or weight and that kind of thing. So that's Kinlock. And then after we leave Kinlock, it's a bit of road section as you come out. A bit of road and just in town there, and then you sort of start your climb, don't you? Into the trail, and might actually jump on this one here.
Oops.
Gives us a better illustration of the sort of elevation out of Kinlock. So you've got about 300 meters of elevation, net elevation gain, leaving Kinlock up to the highest point on the headland loop. So that's decent enough. That's over sort of 8 to 9, almost 9 k's. And that's one of the key things about this race, isn't it? Whether you're on whatever distance, it's kind of like you want to treat the up until the Kinlock point with a degree of patience, because the headland loop, or that last section's like pretty decent, eh? And climb up out of Kinlock. Yeah,
you just kind of like, you still want to be kind of fresh at the halfway point, otherwise you're going to be trudging.
Yeah. So I think patience is the key, through that first 25 k's, or certainly when you're coming into Kinlock, so on that first single trail from Airstrip to when you first get to Kinlock, like not the aid station, but even to the that little bit before, because then you got all that runnable like fast stuff. Like that's a good little section to start getting to work a little bit. But then because then you've got to rest it. You're going to be having a little rest at Kinlock, doing whatever you're doing, and then you leave fresh again. Ready for the for the climbing, and depending on what type of runner or athlete you are, you're either going to be hiking the majority of that up, or you're going to be like, run, walking, whatever, that kind of thing, eh?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
If you're in the pointier end of the 50k, you're going to be more or less running, really, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Cool.
So where's the next aid station after that? Headland, 32 k's. Again, quick stop, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of like treat these last 2 aid stations like you treated the first 2, Yeah, it just depends on, well, the heat, your pace, what's happening for you going into that second half, So yeah, it's just like either you're going to stop at neither of them, one of them, or both of them. But yeah, like the thing about the last one obviously is that it's the finish, opposed to like, the 19k one, you've still got 30k to go. And also the finish, which we haven't sort of touched on too much so far, but we will, is that the course distance is short. So even though the last one's at 42 k's, it's actually not 8 k's to go. There's probably more like 4. So if you're needing to stop there, then I don't know, probably don't need to, unless.
Yeah, it's so on the Taupo Ultra site, it says that the last aid station's at 42 k's, but even looking at the sort of GPX file on the site and hovering, it sort of says 38 k's, and then even it might be too hard to sort of see it on this one. Yeah, I think it's more like that 38. It's 38 k's, and then so what does the course typically clock? People are typically clocking 4 k's less, eh? So if you're on the 50k, there's a good chance you're gonna clock about 46 to 47 k's on your watch. So that's one thing I've heard people say at the finish line. They're like, "Oh, I thought I had further to go, so I left a bit more in the tank." So that's what we're kind of saying to you is like, once you get to that last aid station at around that 38k mark, you've got you've got a really good net downhill. So from the last aid station to the finish line, you've got an elevation loss of 220 odd meters. So that's pretty epic, and only 55 meters of gain. So the immediate section after that aid station, so the next couple of k's, you've got a couple of ups, but then certainly certainly that last 4k's from the last up, it's quick. So I guess something to put in the back of your mind is when your watch is reading 44k's and you're starting to go downhill, then you know that you're about 4k's from the finish, and it's all on. It's all business.
Sprint.
Yeah. So save some legs for that section, because you got some awesome down, and then once you pop out, you pop out down at Whakaipo Bay, you'll know you're getting there because you'll start to hear the finish line, and it sort of opens up, and you'll get onto the flat, and then you just got, what do you reckon that is from, the cattle yard, that crossing to the finish, like half a k?
Yeah, it's not much, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much. Probably a bit more than half a k, but maybe 700 meters.
Yeah.
Which,
the job is done at that point.
You want to be running.
Yeah, that's nice. Anything else that we need to cover about the 50k or this part of the course?
Another thing, not so much, but just like the elevation that it says also on the website is quite incorrect. I'm not sure what it says for the 50.
So this one here, one of the crew that did it last year, he clocked 6:15 on his watch. 6:15 of gain, 800 meters of loss, which is interesting. And we'll look at your one for that same 50 k's for the last 50 k's of your 100 a few years ago. Yeah, 500 meters of gain, 700 loss.
There's not much difference between the two.
Yeah.
Because it's actually kind of closer to 600.
Yeah, so you're looking at about 600 meters of gain, is it? Across the 50k. Oh, it is too, yeah. You're looking at about 600 meters of gain. And, 800 odd. Yeah, 800 odd meters of elevation loss. So, fast course. Hey.
Yeah, it's a fast course. Which presents its own challenges, especially in like the first half, like the undulating thing. It's easy to go too hard, so run within your heart rate, I guess, and what else your coach has been telling you.
Yeah. Obviously, if you're watching this and you're part of our crew, then we'll be helping you out on how to execute your race plan. But if you're not part of our crew and you're watching this, then that's a really good bit of advice, is to just be patient in that first that first 25 odd k's up until you get to Kinlock, because there's a good bit of work after that in the climb, but also in the descent to finish strong. Yeah,
it's like the classic thing of like the race starts at the start line, but the run starts at the start line, but the race starts at Kinlock. So, yeah. And
it's so true for every race, isn't it? Like, it's the same, but it's really noticeable in this course.
Yeah.
That fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is, you got a gnarly. Yeah.
It's kind of like a cruisy start and then a hard finish.
Yeah. And if you do it well, so if you race it well, then you will be overtaking people that are walking up the climb, and you'll be strong and that kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that's it, eh? That'll do.
I think so.
Yeah, I hope that helps. And sing out if there's any questions, and give us a yell if you need help with your running.
Sounds good.
We're here to help. Catch you on the next video.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.